Joining us now, Democratic Chairman of the House Homeland Security Committee, Congressman Benny Thompson of Mississippi, who hammered out the details of the commission bill with Republican ranking member John Katko. Also with us, member of the House Committee on Foreign Affairs, Democratic Congresswoman Abigail Spanberger of Virginia. Benny Thompson, Chairman, curious, is this commission going to come together, and when and how can we start addressing what happened at the U.S. Capitol in real time?
Well, I think it will come together. I think it's a matter of process. We'll take it up today on that Capitol at the House. We will make sure that we get a good vote. It'll go to the Senate. I'm optimistic at the Senate. But this is just something, Mika, that we have to have. You saw, like millions of others, what happened on January 6th. We're a better country than this, and one of the processes to get better is to make sure that we look at it and come back with reasonable findings. We met Republicans at just about every step of the way. Kevin McCarthy was kept informed, and for 4 months, John Katko and myself work through this. So I'm very optimistic. I look forward to the debate and discussion and ultimate vote on the floor today.
Congresswoman Spanberger, it's Willie Geist. Good to have you on this morning. I'm curious what you think, just looking now, the fact that they're whipping votes on the Republican side to vote against this. First of all, is there any jeopardy that this does not pass through the House before it moves into the Senate, where Mitch McConnell sort of has stepped back a little bit? He said he's going to wait to see what comes across his desk, number one. And number two, why do you believe this investigation, this commission, is important?
I think it's tragic that, frankly, after the tremendous work that Chairman Thompson and Representative Katko put into building a broad bipartisan agreement on the need to understand what happened on January 6th, that now we see Republican leadership opposing that effort. It is deeply disappointing. There are clearly questions that Leader McCarthy just doesn't want answered. But as someone who was in the chamber of the United States House of Representatives, when our fellow Americans who were attempting to violently stop the work of Congress were banging on the doors, were beating police, the idea that there would be any member of Congress, or frankly any American, that wouldn't want to understand why that happened so we can protect ourselves, strengthen our democracy into the future, is just shocking to me. I was in the chamber when members of Congress, members of the press were donning gas masks because there was a chemical irritant that was expelled. I was in the chamber when we were climbing over the railings trying to make our way to one door that we thought we could get out of. I was in the chamber when police were outside the United States Capitol getting beaten and brutalized by these attackers. I was in the chamber as we were lying between chairs because there was worry that there might be gunfire. It's extraordinarily just shocking to me that there would be any member of Congress, let alone the Republican leadership, that wouldn't want answers about how that happened. But, you know, frankly, looking back to Leader McCarthy's statement on January 6th, and in the days following, it's clear that he knew and knows some of what contributed to that day. I think that is part and parcel of his opposition. But thanks to the good work of the chairman and to Representative Katko coming together on an agreement that is wholly bipartisan, I expect that members will do their duty and seek the truth to protect our democracy into the future.
Chairman Thompson, as you know, the opposition, at least public opposition from Kevin McCarthy and other Republicans, is that the focus is too narrow. I mean, it seems obvious to most of us that you want to get to the heart of what happened on January 6th was an important issue. They were trying to muddy this by saying, what about Black Lives Matter? What about rioting in the streets last summer? What about Antifa in Portland? How do you answer those criticisms, flailing though they may be?
Well, you know, the January 6th insurrection was an attack on our democracy. The capital of the United States is the citadel of democracy. And when you saw that insurrection occur, you saw individuals who came up walls, through windows, knocking doors down, and ultimately saying that they want the vice president, the speaker, any member of Congress to do harm to them. We are a better country than this, and clearly what we have to do is stand for democracy. Otherwise, this example will permeate the rest of the country every time someone is upset over an election. Can you imagine if every municipal or state election ended in this kind of chaos, what our democracy would look like? So we have a fundamental principle to uphold, and that's our democratic way of government. And we don't really have a choice as members of Congress. We have to get it right. Part of getting it right is to look at everything that occurred, to get all the facts before an impartial body, and let that body come back to us like the 9/11 Commission did. And we took their recommendation as members of Congress, and we got it right. And to our credit and the credit of the 9/11 Commission, none of the things that have happened before 9/11 have happened since, and that's because of the good work. So this is how we want it to run. We don't want the politics to play. We specifically prevented members of Congress, government employees from being on this commission. We want some of the best talent in the country to lend that talent to this commission and do the work. They have until December 31 to complete the product. We didn't want it to get mired in next year's midterm elections. So, and the last thing, it's disingenuous for the minority leader at the last moment, after 4 months of negotiations, and basically we met him more than halfway on everything he asked for. And at the end of the day, he tries to ambush it and prevent us from going forward with it. But, you know, we have a saying in the South, God doesn't like ugly. And when you're ugly, there are some penalties associated with it. And the penalty in this is we'll pass the commission vote today.
So, Mr. Chairman, why do you suspect Kevin McCarthy and other Republicans did that? Why did they pull the rug out from under you all after going along with for a time, then changing the subject, saying, well, you know what, at the end of the day, this didn't have enough about Black Lives Matter and didn't have enough about Antifa. Why do you think Kevin McCarthy does not want a careful examination about what happened on January 6th?
Well, my humble opinion is that there's some information that he would deem troubling for the Republican Party if it got out. And I think he will do everything possible to prevent that.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. It is always great to have you on. We greatly appreciate it. And good luck moving forward. We need to have a transparent hearing, and let's hope that we'll get some cooperation. We will be watching.